Another day, sailing away from me. And though the work isn't done, I don't want to hear you. 'Cause you cannot master the truth. It's a uphill battle, but it's my attitude. I'm prepared. If I had to travel a distant avenue, but don't mistake this. Places for no foundation. I may be an optimist, but I know we're up against so shut it. Hate it or love it. Well, brother, yes or nothing. One can be a realist and still have some fun. I understand that you're down and out, but I cannot have you around. Stay from me. If your plans to solve, there is just no way I'll concede and bury my mind to wait in defeat. Satisfy yourself, you're not even my enemy. Yeah, you try to show down and some around it, please your words. Presenting like it's an honest cruelty, but again you call it that when you won't leave and stand on your face. You're demoralized, you're demoralized, you're demoralized. Please don't run around, but when we win, it's on the time, don't not a man. Those you will definitely benefit, don't ever act like you paid a cent. I understand that you're down and out, but I cannot have you around. Stay from me. If your plans to solve, there is just no way I'll concede and bury my mind to wait in defeat. There's gotta be a way where there's a will, because our fate is now sealed. There is just no way I'll concede and bury my mind to wait in defeat. Yo, we gotta leave, but you got to get from around there and take that black pill right back to wherever you live. We're dealing with an age, a different set of ethics that we know it's bad, but that don't mean we have to lose. This current trend is not humanity. Stay from me. If your plans to solve, there is just no way I'll concede and bury my mind to wait in defeat. There's gotta be a way where there's a will, because our fate is now sealed. There is just no way I'll concede and bury my mind to wait in defeat. We will win. We will win. Move.
Yo, yo. What's up, everybody? Hope y'all doing well. Hope y'all doing all right, man. Lots of stuff going on today. Wanted to do a short stream, give you some details about some announcements that I've had, and really talk about this one subject matter, if you don't mind, just because Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. All right. Let me start by saying this. I want to thank all of you guys for the continued support. Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Now, we floated out this idea that for Canon Sake was going to end up returning. And we talked about that for a while, actually. We discussed that it was going to eventually happen. And I was floating around kind of what is going to be the format when it returned. Put some polls out there to my audience talking about preferences, long, one time a month show, weekly, bi-weekly. We floated those ideas out there, and this is where I landed. So if you didn't watch the video, long story short, yes, it's returning starting next week on the 29th. It's Monday. What'll be happening is I will stream for an entire week, and I may, but after that, may not even stream the following week. The purpose of this is to collect data. I want to try out different days. I want to try out different time slots. I'm going to look at this from the more analytical perspective of, okay, if I'm committing to one show a week, what day and time does that make sense? Talked about this in my last stream. I don't know what the audience or how the audience feels about that old 12 p.m. slot that we had. And I want to try some things out, and I will then make a decision on what day and time we will be recording on after, again, collecting the data from the show. So this is the first time in a long time where I have streamed every day. I will have streamed every weekday. I'll stream Monday to Friday, 1 week only, as more like a return kind of situation, okay? And then once I get back, analyze the data, I will give you guys the actual time and date, and then we're off to the races. That's what we'll commit to. Will there be pop-up shows from time to time? For sure. But that's not the goal. I'll be completely transparent about that. The goal isn't to, always be streaming like more than one time a week, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to commit to, I'm not going to be able to commit to that for sure long term. So we'll have the rarer occasions that we will be streaming multiple times throughout the week, but mainly it's just going to be that one dedicated day and time slot through the week, and we'll talk about everything going on. It'll be a better show, I think, in comparison to the previous ones, because I am committing to one day, so I need to make sure that it looks great. It's produced greatly, and I am going to have segments. We'll have, obviously, guests from time to time, and we're going to do this right. So starting on 29th, Monday, we will stream every single day an episode of For Canon Sake. Find out our time, commit to it, and then we're off to the races. So that's the details for Canon Sake and its official return. I think now is the proper time to do it, because I didn't really know when I was going to do it. I mean, like I said, we floated that stuff out for the better part of a year, right? Where we were like, yeah, it's going to be this. We're thinking about this. It's going to return eventually. And then we finally did it. We just finally did it. We just finally said, all right, we're going to do it. So we're going to, start kicking it old school. Someone asked in the chat, is it going to be on all platforms again? Yes, it'll be on. The main difference between the streaming format is that we're going to stream to multiple platforms. Probably going to be streaming. I have a big following over there on Facebook. Probably going to be streaming, dual streaming over there. But the main thing that we'll be doing is making sure that the format is not just unfamiliar, but I do want to make sure that it's more polished with the production, because like I said, I'm not gonna say I have a week to prepare, but I am only giving it to you 1 week, so I don't want to half-ass it. I don't want to half-ass it at all, man. So yeah, For Canon Sake, 29th, it'll start. And then yeah, we're gonna get things going. So appreciate y'all for the continued support. Thank you all so much. It's time for the best show of the best shows. Yes, the best show of the best shows will be returning next week. I'm really excited about it. Looking forward to it. And yeah, we're going to kick this thing off right. Like I said, we were almost 500 episodes deep into that show. It's crazy. It started around 2018, 2019. Started as like a little podcast, as far as we used to pre-record all the material and then upload it as a single episode. There was no live; it wasn't even live streamed. And then I moved to a live format, especially during the like 2020 era when I had so much to say, and the show started to kind of find its form around that time of what we were going to be discussing. You know, it went from strictly, hence the name, for Canon Sake, talking a lot about like comics and just that was really the main thing that we were talking about there. And it branched off into like other entertainment stuff, and political, social political stuff as well. And so that became a mainstay with the show and its format. We just talked about whatever was on my mind, and I think that's just how it's going to remain. So some will be entertainment heavy, some will be, depending on what's going on in the realm of politics, we'll be talking that as well. And yeah, the goal is to just give you guys a good show, man. That's what I want to do here. I want to give you a good show, a show that, you know, we are going to look forward to actually doing and producing. That's the goal there. That's really the goal. That's what we want to try to do. So yeah, thank you. So yeah. All right, what else we got? Okay, I got that hot dice. I appreciate that. So yeah, streaming on all platforms. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on my Facebook. Probably do Twitter. Trying to see if there's going to be some other format opportunities there as far as where the show is going to be recorded, or shown live at. We'll mix it up. We'll see what's up. I don't want to run it too thin, but we'll see. New camera angle. I may get a second because there was a while there. I don't know if you guys remember. I had it on a slider. And it was like a short period of time where the camera, I had a basically B camera, and it was on, like I said, it's a slider, so it would go back and forth. And yeah, man, it was cool, but it was man, it was a son of a gun to operate, to try to switch between those, and even my little application that I had that would do it automatically, it was just annoying, man. You know, a one-man show. If I had a producer, then that's a different thing. But for me, I may do a second camera, but you got to remember I'm doing this live as well. Now, if I was pre-recording it, absolutely, I'd have probably three cameras around. But you know, we're gonna shoot it live, not pre-recorded live for the most part. Though we will probably, some of the guest spots will be pre-recorded. But as far as the main show, it's gonna be live stream. So I'm operating straight up off of switching the scenes like this, you know, every time I get things going. That's kind of what we're going to be doing. So, yeah. All right. There's that. Okay, so yeah, I want to talk about this real quick. Let me pull this up. I don't know if you guys had caught this information, but this is a pretty big deal. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, here we go. So, Jim Jordan posted this today. Let's take a look real quick. Breaking, due to our oversight effort, it's Representative, again, Jim Jordan, Google commits to offer all creators previously kicked off YouTube due to political speech violations to return on the platform. Now, this is information that just broke, again, not too long ago. Additionally, it says, but that's not all. And just to read some of this stuff here, it does get very interesting. So I know you guys aren't going to be able to see this, so I'm going to read some of this stuff out to you all. And it's a bunch of, you know, background BS and like, hey, what the company is going to be committed to do, alphabet that is. And this is where it gets juicy. The committee and its investigation. And it says the company appreciates the accountability from House Judiciary Committee led by Chairman Jim Gord and its critical role in advancing core American value of freedom of expression. The company has a commitment to freedom of expression. This commitment is unwavering and will not bend to political pressure. And transparency regarding government interactions with private platforms is essential to fostering public trust and upholding principles of free expression. The committee's investigation brought to light new information that enhanced the public's understanding in this respect. So, basically setting the scene there. Let me go ahead and pull up this so I can actually follow along with you guys in case anybody has questions or anything. Hold on just a second. Just a second. All right, appreciate that. All right. So it says the Biden administration and Alphabet. Now, look, if you guys remember, the Twitter files came out and it revealed that really the government was working directly with Alphabet agencies. Excuse me, the Alphabet agencies of the government, obviously, were working hand in hand with the platforms to get rid of, as well as, I don't know, deboost, sort of derank people for various reasons, okay? If you remember, I don't know what he's doing these days. What's his name? Yoel Roth, who was like the public or whatever safety or whatever bullshit position that they had over there, trust and safety over there at Twitter. This is pre-Elon Musk, obviously. And, you know, they went into detail on how deep this thing was. But let me read this real quick as far as, again, coming from Jim Jordan. This is broke early this morning. The COVID-19 was an unprecedented time in which online platforms had to reach decisions about how best to balance freedom of expression with responsibility, including responsibility with respect to the moderation of user-generated content that could result in harm, real-world harm. Senior Biden administration officials, including White House officials, conducted repeated and sustained outreach to Alphabet and pressed the company regarding certain user-generated content related to the COVID-19 pandemic that did not violate its policies. While the company continued to develop and enforce its policies independently, Biden administration officials continued to press the company to remove non-violative user-generated content. So that's called extortion, coercion. We're not forcing you to do it. It'd be in your best interest to do it. And you'd probably be doing us a solid there. But we're not making you do it. Essentially what this says, that though they acted, and look, you know, they're a private institution, so yeah, that is somewhat true, but there's no bigger gang than the government. As online platforms, including Alphabet, grappled with these decisions, the administration officials, including President Biden, created a political atmosphere that sought to influence the action of platforms based on their concerns regarding misinformation. It is unacceptable and wrong when any government, including the Biden administration, attempts to dictate how the company moderates content, and the company has consistently fought against those efforts on First Amendment grounds. And yeah, I mean, totally correct in that, you know, the government sitting here trying to police what people put on their content where there's no crimes being committed, like there's no acts of aggression in the, you know, the content that's being produced or spread, then there's nothing wrong with that. And obviously the private property owner of the platform has the right to make whatever decision that they want to make, whether they want to house this content or whether they want to get rid of this content. It's up to them. It should not be coming from the government. But continuing on. No matter the political atmosphere, YouTube will continue to enable free expression on its platform, particularly as it relates to issues subject to political debate. Political debate and discussion are in the public's interest, which is why YouTube expanded its approach to educational, documentary, scientific, and artistic content on the platform. In contrast to other large platforms, YouTube has not operated a fact-checking program that identifies and compensates fact-checking partners to produce content to support moderation. YouTube has not and will not empower fact-checkers to action on label content across the company's services, which is a decent thing. That said, that's not necessarily true that they've never done that. They did it in a way that was a little... what would be a proper term? Sneaky. So you remember anytime you did a video talking about COVIDs, they put a little, all my videos were like this dude is here. even my streams, they would put this little notice right under the deal. It didn't say that the video was wrong. It would say something, hey, for more information about this topic, or this video is about this topic, for more information, sending you to, like, I think it was the CDC at the time, if I'm not mistaken. So, like I said, is it fact checking? No, so I guess technically they are correct. But it's not telling the whole truth. They absolutely used to, on all of my videos, put that damn notice on there that I believe directed to the CDC. The company terminated channels for repeatedly violating community guidelines on elections integrity through content through 2023 and COVID-19 content through 2024. Now, I don't know if a lot of you remember that. I've had videos taken down. My first strike, which ended up getting reversed, and remember, I've been on this platform probably longer than your favorite YouTubers, okay? I was 17 years old when I created my YouTube. 16, actually, I believe. 16 or 17, around there. I was still a teenager when I created my YouTube channel. This was in the mid-2000s when YouTube first got off, okay? And up until then, my first strike, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to make sure I'm not misspeaking and there wasn't one in between, but I got a strike for sharing that video. I cannot remember the names off the top of my head, but there was a video. It was like one of the first big videos where there were two doctors, actual doctors. I believe they were ER doctors, if I'm not mistaken, that were going on about like the spread of COVID and such so forth. This was in California. And they were basically having this almost like a press conference, blowing this whole operation to shit. Essentially saying that, look, this is, for lack of better terms, this is BS, how we treat these kids, you know, we're keeping them in house and they're not spreading around these germs to build up this immunity and stuff like that. Like, they talked about all that. And I remember sharing the video. I think it was part of a show. I can't remember if it was the stream that they struck or if it was the segment from the stream. But that was one of my first videos. That was like, I think it was my first video that I ever got struck, okay? They ended up removing the strike after I contended. And though I couldn't put the video back up. So the video was taken down. This let me know it was all bullshit. So they didn't really find a violation of like that was worthy enough of a strike, but for some reason the video itself could not be shared anymore. It was like taken down, but the strike was removed, and I couldn't even re-upload it without them, you know, essentially taking it down. And so it was something about that video, right? Because I know this was happening in other people's channels. There was something about that video that they took great exception to. Continuing on here, though. But yes, about the political integrity, you know, this is talking about the elections. People obviously after the 2020 election started questioning some of the results, started videos, you know, that were coming out there talking about, you know, the ballots, you know, stuff and all that good stuff, seeing a lot of shaky things. So people got to asking questions. Some people who thought they had proof of this, doing videos. A lot of those guys had their channel struck, had their stuff taken down, just like with the COVID stuff. Reflecting the company's commitment to free expression, YouTube will provide an opportunity, and this is the most important part, for all creators to rejoin the platform if the company terminated their channel for repeated violations of COVID-19 and elections integrity policies that are no longer in effect. I'm going to let everybody in on a secret real quick before I continue on. That's a big deal. So you might want to spread this information to those out there that may have got their channels taken down. I don't know if this has anything to do, though, with the deboosting, because I know a lot of people went from, okay, well, my material is going to be shown to but a significant portion of my subscribers, to, wait a minute, nobody's seeing my shit in there. Like, so there's a way to like inorganically change your reach, adjust your reach, which isn't technically a ban. I don't think that applies to it. But at least as far as people being totally suspended, it looks like if you have creators out there that got suspended specifically for those two reasons, it looks like YouTube is offering a way to get around it, or rather return to the platform. Now, I want to let people in on a secret. I don't think I've ever told this to you public. I used to get asked a lot. So, Eric, how in the fuck are you avoiding all of these bans when you are doing a show every single day talking about this shit? Yeah, people throwing out the racial connotation and stuff. That had nothing to do with it. I'm going to explain exactly how I was able to get around it. I was very, very, very strategic. And now remember, it wasn't the CDC, it was the WHO, in which they had, as I'm telling the story, I remembered, in which they had that little tag under every video that I did talking about COVID. The way that I was able to get around it, if you noticed, if you remember my shows, I would always bring up John Ioannidis. John Ioannidis, he's a doctor out of Stanford. And what kind of doctor was he? He was, I can't remember what the exact type of doctor that he was. But he's out of Stanford, which I believe is the same school that Jay Bhattacharya went to as well. Early on in the COVID stuff, doing this whole shit, remember, it got to America rather late. He published a bulletin specifically posted by the WHO that gave everybody the early effective fatality rates, IFRs, of those that were killed during COVID. I believe it took in consideration, it was Italy. I can't remember if South Korea was part of that, but it wasn't America. And it was a WHO I don't even think they really understood what they did when they did. This is why I would constantly bring that specific bulletin up, and I would invoke it. I know people were tired of me talking about it. I always brought it up. Reason being is because I knew that the YouTube was working with WHO, right? And not working with, I guess technically, yes, but they were referring to them as a point of authority. So anytime I would say it sounded inflammatory and it get you banned, when I'd be like, if this in this age group, the data shows that you don't have much to worry about unless you have these comorbidities. I wasn't speaking out of phrase there out of turn. I was citing their own bulletin that they had on their own fucking platform. The WHO, yes, the corrupt World Health Organization. I don't know if they ever knew that was there like that, because I don't know what their publishing requirements are or their standards. But I'm like, okay, you want to appeal to the WHO? I'm going to play that game. I'm going to play the game. Well, the WHO, you published a bulletin from John Ioannidis that specifically co-signed my position with regards to the infected fatality rate of COVID. And I kept invoking. I would invoke it like every show that I did. So they can't sit up here and say that, and that was how I got my strike taken down, because that was what I was appealing to. I was like, hey, this supports the data that you are specifically telling everybody to go reference. And that's how I got around this dumb shit. Even though I was one among the loudest voices, the most of the earliest voices. Remember, I gave y'all 2 weeks. I don't know if y'all remember. Let's speaking of Canon Sake, let's give it to you a throwback. I caught this shit early on because I was following the data early on. Why a lot of even my own audience scared to fucking death, right? Telling me I wanted grandmas killed. This is in March, right? Telling me, before that, February, telling me that I wanted grandmas dead. It wasn't even grandmas, because at that point, people thought that shit was a plague. And I was specific. I gave y'all 2 weeks. I don't know if you remember that. I said, I'm going to give you 2 weeks. It had nothing to do with slow to spread. That's not what I was talking about. I was like, y'all are telling me this shit is dangerous as y'all. I'm not going to say anything about it, because I was talking about it and people were getting annoyed. My own audience was turning against me. Right? Just live, right? As I'm streaming, they're turning against me. This guy, what the fuck are you talking about? You've gone crazy. We need to take this shit serious. I was following the data coming out of South Korea very early on. And I knew this was a fucking nothing burger. Knew it from the get-go. I knew it. Can't nobody. There's been people that have changed. One thing you can't say about Eric July is that he switched his position on that even when it was uncomfortable. Because my own audience was basically telling me to go fuck myself during that time. Because they tricked you into being fucking scared. My own audience. And I said, I did that video. I'm going to find it. I'm going to see if I can find the, I'm actually curious as the date. When the first time I talked about it. And that was the title. I'm giving y'all 2 weeks. Let me see when this was posted. I'm looking at the video right now. 5 years ago. It was March 23rd. I said, I'm going to give y'all 2 weeks because I knew I was right, but my audience was turning against me. I said, watch this shit. 2 weeks, I'm going to give y'all. And I'm coming back and I'm going, if we ain't, dying in the streets, I'm coming back and I'm coming for noggins. I'm coming for noggins. I did that video. Came back 2 weeks on fire. And it was off to the races from then. Because I wanted people to, I wanted to give even my own audience a shot. Like, guys, the information is already out there. These fuckers are lying to you, bros. They're lying. And I came back. We did the show every day. And I was talking about this strategically. I'd always bring data because I knew that I was on thin ice. I knew that YouTube was looking for a fucking reason to get rid of my ass. So I was very precise in what I said. There were certain things that I wouldn't entertain because they weren't necessarily, it did make it untrue, but it wasn't supported by the authority figures that Google had us referencing, so that risked me getting banned. That was the critical error a lot of people made, and that's your way away. If you want to actually play chess out there, right? If you're out there on these platforms where it's a little different now, we had a regime change, so people don't fear as much of getting banned from all these various platforms. But in the event that comes back, the trick is always use the information against them, always, if you can. Where the critical error that so many people made during this period of time, which was getting them taken down, was because they were making all of these assertions that weren't they weren't incorrect, but they were throwing that stuff out there without referencing the authority figures determined by these social media platforms. And that was all you had to do. Refer to the WHO. The WHO, which now everybody knows is a fucking quack. But during that period of time, people kept referring to them as if they were the authority figure. I said, I'm going to take you up on that shit. I'm going to take you up on it. If that's the game that we're playing, I'm going to play the game. So you just use the information against them. It's already there. Right there for you. That was the trick. I don't think I've ever mentioned that stuff publicly. If you wonder why I do my shows and I repeat myself all the time, and you'd be like, damn, man, didn't you already say this fucking 3 times during the show? Yes, but I'm doing segments. I have said it, but I'm doing segments. So if you're going to tell me to listen to the experts, okay, cool. I'm not going to reference the rhetoric. I'm not going to reference the stuff that they say in the press conferences and stuff like that. I'm going to reference the data that you are linking the audience to. And that's how I was getting away around all them goddamn bans or threats to be banned. I got one strike. One strike, as I mentioned, it was me sharing that video from again, those 2 doctors out of California. That was the only time that I believe I got a strike and I got it removed. Got to be strategic, man. Strategic is the key. All right. So let me keep reading this real quick. It says YouTube values conservative voices on its platform. And I want to be clear. I know Jim Jordan is using this just as like, okay, that's who he's supposed to represent. they were fucking, throttling. That's the term I was using. I was meaning to use. Banning people that were to the right of Stalin. It didn't really matter where you were at. Jordan said, "What the channels that got strikes even when they quoted the CDC?" Yes, but the CDC isn't the WHO, and the WHO at the time were who the YouTube of, and that's because it's an international company, was who they were referencing. It wasn't the CDC. YouTube values conservative voices on its platforms. That these creators have extensive reach and play an important role in civic discourse. The company recognizes these creators are among those shaping online consumption, landing must-watch interviews, giving viewers a chance to hear directly from politicians, celebrities, business leaders, and more. The committee has taken important investigative steps to highlight that onerous obligations under laws, such as the Digital Services Act and the Digital Markets Act, may stifle innovation and restrict access to information. These laws place a disproportionate regulatory burden on American companies, and the company has long expressed its concern about the risk that the DSA may pose to freedom of expression within and outside of the European Union, depending on how certain provisions may be enforced. And that's the one thing you run into, and I don't envy any of these international platforms, is that it's not just, though they may be based out of the US, once you like become international, especially one of the heavily used platform, or here really anything, you now have to not only combat the US government, you have to combat their governments as well. The DSA may open avenues for substantive regulation of lawful speech, including through risk mitigation, use of codes of conduct, crisis protocols, and out-of-court dispute settlement mechanisms. Alphabet remains mindful of these risks and continues to be vigilant in the defense of its rights. Now, this is where, again, it gets interesting again. YouTube also admits the Biden admin censorship pressure was unacceptable and wrong. Now, we all knew that. We already knew that the Biden regime was responsible. And it's funny, this often comes from the side that throws the term fascist out there to anybody to the right of Joseph Stalin. The problem with that is, as people are finding, these guys are some of the biggest advocates of fascism. Now, the issue here, another issue rather, is that people don't know what the fuck fascism is. If there are videos that you should watch for me, I did 2 of them. One, notably, it's called "Yes, the Nazis Were Socialist." Another I did was I can't remember the title, but I talk about I specifically go through like the doctrine of fascism and stuff. A lot of people use the term fascism and have no idea what the fuck it means. Fascism now, especially in how it's used in American politics, is guy saying something I don't like, guy doing something I don't like, and they associate that with fascism. It's not what the fuck fascism is. But it's everything within state, nothing without it. So when you get this merge of private and public, again, no such thing as far as the legitimacy of it, but you get what I'm saying here. When you get that merge of corporate and state, that's fascism, okay? The Biden regime trying to whip private entities into shape to bend and break to their will, what they advocate is an example of fascism. Textbook. So they admit that it's unacceptable and wrong. Now, that's where things get interesting. Why are they saying that? Are they saying that because, well, the tide has changed? There was a regime change, and now the Biden administration is no longer in control. Is it now because it's more socially acceptable? And I think that's probably a little more accurate. It's not to say that 2 things can't be true, because it can be true. Yes, it could be true that they were pimping, the Biden administration trying to pimp these private platforms, supposedly. On the other hand, I also think y'all will in on it. Okay? I think your executives, your board members, we're all in on it, in the cahoots. Because, well, they share politics. They share political views. They share social views. And therefore, while it may be one of those, hey, we're just kind of nudging you situation, this is what you should do, I think the reason why you were so quick to fold is because you believe what they believe. Well, that's my position on it. It's almost impossible for me to prove that. Because it's not like they're going to admit it. But I'm just going by voting habits of your company employees. I'm just going by how quickly you were willing to sell out the people that were using your platform that made YouTube great. It wasn't the government, okay? What made YouTube such a unique experience and why it blew up the way that it did, it wasn't the first video platform. It was one of the first best in, let's say first in, best dressed, but it wasn't the first big first video platform, a platform where you could upload videos. It was the nature of the everyday man being able to do whatever shit. Because I don't know if y'all remember early days of YouTube, it wasn't this. It wasn't no streaming. That didn't exist. It wasn't even any of these like big dogs, big companies posting on YouTube. They were late to the party. It used to be just a bunch of regular creators that were on there posting random shit. It was a platform of and by the people. And that was the big attraction to it, where anybody could be on it. Not everybody could make money on it. That was a slow rollout, but anybody could be on it. And they sold everybody out for the fucking, as they became a mega corporation, as, you know, once they got sold off and it became Google or part of Google, and they sold off that, they sold off everybody else too in the process. Cat videos, conspiracy videos, goofy ass videos of random shit that, you know, meme culture back then, which we didn't know it was meme culture, where we were just posting dumb shit. I don't know if you remember that South Park episode, which so accurately caught it. We would make random shit go viral that didn't make sense. Sort of like the chocolate rain. That shit and fucking the little chipmunk thing turning around real fast. You know what I mean? It's like, this is stupid. Doesn't even make sense. He puts dramatic music around a chipmunk or squirrel or whatever the fuck that thing was, turning around, and everybody fucking loved it. That was YouTube back in the gap. It wasn't podcasts. It wasn't these fucking streams that I'm doing right now talking about important topics. It wasn't none of that shit. It was just random people posting dumb shit. Like I was posting my like highlight videos of track and field to send to colleges on YouTube. In 2007 to 2008. And fucking boogie videos, right? That's obviously when the Dougie first blew. We weren't thinking about we were having fun. We weren't even thinking 2006. We weren't even thinking about fucking making money on this platform. I'll never forget it. Shout out to Young Noodles. 2006, my Dougie drops, right? This isn't teaching me how to Dougie. This is my Dougie, right? Drops. 2006. We record Noodles doing the Dallas Boogie to my Dougie. Lo and behold, he became a fucking, who would have known? We were fucking part of the fucking group that helped popularize a dance that everybody wrongfully calls the fucking Dougie. The Dougie is not the name of the dance. The Dougie is a nod to Dougie Fresh, the rapper, old 80s rapper Dougie Fresh, where he wipes his head. That was the name of the dance is the Dallas Boogie. Please get it correct. I know I'm on a random rep. Get it correct. The name of the dance is not the Dougie. There's a reason why C Smooth in the Teach Me How to Dougie song says, I ain't from Dallas, but I D-Town Boogie. Because that's the dance. The actual dance that's the Dallas Boogie. That's the name of the dance. The Dougie is only a part of what you're doing when you're dancing, when you wipe your head. And it's a nod to Dougie Fresh. When he used to do it. If you remember Dougie Fresh back in the Gap, he used to always do that shit. That's what that actually is. The name of the dance ain't the fucking Dougie. History lesson, people. And I was there from the get-go. So I'm speaking from a place of authority, right? But this is that's the point, right? Who would have known a couple of guys, fucking a teenager, start grooving on fucking YouTube and shit, and then it blows up and becomes a sensation well after the shit, like what Teach Me How to Dougie, right? It was way after fucking the shit was like a thing. But that's what YouTube was in 2006. I never forget that fucking video. Blew up. And all it's just fucking noodles just fucking grew. We just said, all right, we're gonna record this and post it on this fucking stupid website. It was 2006. You know, My Dougie came out in 2008. No, it did not. My Dougie by Lil Will did not come out in 2008. And I'm going to prove it to you right now because I'm going to go find the fucking video. I'm going to find the OG video. Because now I got people testing my G. And I don't expect, don't you know, I started this shit. It was not 2008. That might have been when you saw the video, but it was not 2008. Hold up. Let me see if I can, let me try to find it. Hold on. I'm looking at a video I did on this shit. This is in my house 17 fucking years ago. Here it is. Oh, yeah, we about to watch this. Now I might start grooving. Hold up real quick. You said, what did you say, 2008? Some guy just fucking thought that he knew this shit? I'm finding it right now. What day was this? This is 2007. This ain't 2008. It's the same song. It wasn't big by the end.
At it again, y'all. My nigga YU-N-G.
This ain't 2008. We were already on this shit.
I know y'all like it.
We were already on this shit way before y'all ever knew anything about the shit. The point is, this is the type of goofy shit we used to do on this goddamn platform. That's what it was back in the day. And then they sold you out. It was just people posting random shit. You had check the facts. Yeah, 2008. I think that may have been, on a serious note, when it went like nationwide. And I think he may have recorded, Lil Will may have recorded the official like music video then, but this song was out long before that. Long before that. You got oh shit, my bad. You got to remember this is the day, this is the mixtape era, right? This is when songs blew up before they were ever on the radio. YouTube used to be fun. Yes, it used to be again, I say this as someone who's podcast on this goddamn site. But that's not what this site used to be about. But it used to be a fun site, man. It used to be a real fun site. And going back to the point, I know, long-winded, right? Bringing it back to the point, YouTube, it was only after the fact when you see all these like news platforms and shit posting that was not a thing back then. They used to shun YouTube. YouTube was for the fucking weirdo normie people, right? And by normies, I'm talking about like, not like in a nerd sense of when we use the term normie, but like not the corporate entities, right? They were too cute for this shit until the platform took over and now that everybody posts their material on what? YouTube. But that's not what the platform used to be about, which is why it's kind of this full circle moment when they sold out to people for these other mega corporations. Still have a couple of free mixtapes from artists back in the day. Yeah, like, it's funny. A lot of songs during that era that you knew about in the hip-hop scene probably were hits, like, long before you had even heard it. Long before you had heard it. And it's funny, when I went to Google, I just was curious, looking at this is in my fucking old house. Where we were boogieing. I just realized this. Like, this is on Noodle's channel, but this is my old house. Hold up. Well, we're dancing to Google.
Real deal, young Ripper the Tear.
Yeah, that's me.
YG
YG, that's me right there. This is my fucking house. This 2008. This is before I even graduated fucking high school. But yeah, that's just a little history lesson for you guys regarding I know I told this story before. Like, why is the fucking why teach me how to Dougie video on your fucking channel is what people keep asking me, and it's like, well, I helped popularize the dance. This is what I used to do on YouTube. I used to do, and we were never posting this dumb shit back when we were fucking teenagers with the intention that it was gonna get millions of views and become this like big platform. Like, that was never the idea. It was just like we were kids. We were kids, you know what I mean, growing up, and Dallas Boogie was a thing. So we used to fucking do this shit and record ourselves doing it because we thought it was cool. Little or younger, yeah, I was 17. I was 17 when that was that video there. I was 17 when that got recorded. This is Canon and you. That's my house. That's crazy. It's funny. Listening, because you can hear him say, he says, YG Ripper.
Young Dance in this house.
In case you didn't understand.
It's Triple D, bitch. This the Dougie video.
Real deal.
Oh man, these were the days, man.
Young Ripper the Tear. YG Ripper. Young Noodles.
And YN fucking Noodles and all those guys. Fun. That was fun times. Those fucking teenagers didn't give a fuck about nothing. Those were good days, man. Now YouTube is ran by the mega corporations, unfortunately, and advertisers. Baby Ripper, yeah, I was 17 when that video was recorded. I don't even remember. I'm gonna be honest with you. I do not remember doing that. I remember the first video that we did, which was recorded at Noodles' house. I don't remember fucking this one right here of us dancing to the Dougie in 2008 in my house. I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all. But yeah, that's lore. That's a little lore in case you didn't know. That's why it always trips me out when you get people that are like, they'll bring up a thing. Oh, you got big. You made your following off of doing X, Y, Z, and it's some shit that I was doing, like some video I did in like 2022. I'm like, do you not understand? I've been on this platform longer than your fucking favorite creators. I've had probably 3 total big explosions as far as my YouTube channel is concerned, right? It was this era, like the Boogie era, right? That was the first big one, hip hop, where I was also rapping myself. So that era in that of itself was massive, right? On top of that, you had after that it was the vocal covers. This is before any of this shit. Vocal covers. This was probably 20 when I started doing that, maybe 2009, 2011 when I started doing like the metal vocal covers. Nah, it's like 2010 when I started doing that. And then from there, that same era, I had another big explosions with a different audience, and that was when I started talking to politics shit. Like on video format. I used to be a nerd. I used to write articles and all that dumb shit. That was when we founded Being Libertarian all those days. But as far as like my following, is people that just found, just because you just found out about me during this time doesn't mean I wasn't doing other things like long before you thought about this. And this is what used to trip me out about. Remember when Candace Owens, no disrespect to her, right? When she first blew up, and then I'd do videos and stuff, and you'd have these fucking randos that be like, oh, you trying to do what fucking Candace Owens do? I was like, motherfucker, I was talking about this shit on YouTube long before she was fucking but it was even a thing. Before she was doing that, her first, like, when she was entered into political space, I don't know if you guys remember, and it used to be on Facebook and stuff like that. She used to do a series called The Myth of the Coon, right? I was like fucking 5 years in. Prior to that, what the fuck are y'all talking about? And that includes the political stuff, right? This is what trips me out. Again, you got people from, and then we get to reminisce because we're talking about Canon Sake coming back. But you get these people that, you know, obviously a lot of people birth their careers in the political sense, like in like political culture stuff from like the Trump phenomenon, right? A lot of people came up around there. Guys, I was talking about this shit in Liberty long. He was still a fucking Democrat. I don't think people understand, even with my music, if you think like that was some shit that we just randomly started doing. Even Backwards wasn't the first band that I was doing that shit for. Right? I did a video called The Capitalist when I was in Fire from the Gods. And I was mocking fucking Obama in the fuck. He was a villain in our video. He was brainwashing us. You probably think I'm making that shit up. We go take a look at the tape because we always gotta go to the receipts. Always. And this is 2014. I just want to hear the song. I did a whole EP talking about liberty when this EP dropped. That was 2013, 2014. I think the only guys still in Fire are Drew, which is the bassist there. He might not be in it no more. Drew and I don't know if Bonner is still a part of it. But Drew's the only founding member. Tony was a founding member. He left when I left, which is him. Tony is this guy right here. He's a founding member. Bonner actually didn't help find it. He came after the fact. But yeah, see a guy in an Obama mask. Man, this is OG metalcore days, man. Like, this is peak, man. I hardly ever do those gutturals like I back then. I hardly ever do it now. But yeah, I was making fun of fucking Obama. This is a guy that obviously when I got off that political shit as far as the Obama support like 2000. Really, it was that next semester. It was like 2009, right? And I used to do articles and shit. And it wasn't until like, when I joined Fire, when I started doing that. I used to do it in rap stuff. But as far as the rock and blending those elements of my philosophy into that shit, that started here. This is the first song that ever featured a rap. So I know this became the style that Fire became known for. This was the first song, history lesson, Fire from the Guys. This is the first song that I ever did it on, that I ever rapped on, as far as like with Fire. Man, this is a solid ass hook, man. I fucking stabbed Obama in the neck in his face. I forgot. I fucking stabbed him. It's funny because everybody's talking about fucking Guar right now. About that shit at Trump. I forgot I did that. I fucking stabbed Obama in the fucking damn. Well, he was brainwashing me, goddamn it. But yeah, that was talking about blast from the fucking past. Need to bring those lows back. I agree, man. I actually agree with that. I actually agree with that. It's been a while since I've done those. We've done them like underlaying the like kind of track, or like the vocal line, like as a kind of a secondary vocal. But it's been very few songs. It's been some, but it's been very few songs where I was like doing those lows on a backwards track, just because I try to not force it when I write that type of stuff. But you got to remember when Fire. A lot of people don't know this. History lesson. Fire from the Guys was not a metalcore band when I joined it. Fire from the Guys was a deathcore band when I first joined it. And songs like The Capitalist kind of mixed, definitely with the ending there, it mixed both of those genres. When I joined, my philosophy was, y'all brought me in this bitch to help elevate it, right? We're going to be stuck. This was at least my line of thinking during that time. I was like, instead of me trying to mimic the vocalist before me, and we want to take things to the next level, we need to do what my strength is, right? And that strength is unique to us. Other people can't do it. Other people can't do it. So, not everybody has that talent of being able to spit, right? This is pre-fucking whatever the fuck Ronnie Racky's doing these days. To be able to spit, sing the way that I did, and also, do the screen. So I was like, I don't think a lot of people know this. There was a lot of pushback when I implemented that. The band was very divided on when I started singing and rapping. Because remember, when I joined, it was a deathcore band. There were no fucking. I think the first songs that I did live with them were not mine. They were the previous vocalist stuff. That they dropped an EP right before I had joined, and I was like, "Look, man, I'm not him." For sure, for our local audience, remember, Fire is based out of Austin. Like the local audience, we can do these songs because they're gonna know them. But if we're gonna elevate ourselves, we need to do My Strength. And it was divided. Judson, big shout out, who was the drummer at the time. He also was a hip hop guy, so he was all for it. He was all fucking game for it. But for some of the others, it was a little more. It was some pushback. It was some pushback. Like that wasn't the direction that we wanted to go, or not everybody wanted to go until we eventually, definitely with the producer at the time, Robbie. We were like, we finally landed on, we need to do this. We just need to do this. This is what we do. Like, this is this talent. Let's just do it. And yeah, it's funny how that ended up becoming the sound that the band, even when I left, right? Like they were trying to mimic that, but it wasn't there before I got there. And that's not trying to gas myself up, but just giving you the history facts. That's how it happened. And I bounced, and then they would try again. All this is water on the bridge. I want people bringing up old shit thinking that me and Fire are still beefing. No, we already squashed that shit. But the first song that they dropped when I left was called Eat. And that was a song that I had written and recorded. The other vocalist came in and just laid his shit down over mine. Which, to be fair, at the time, I was like, that shit was corny. But also, it's standard. It's not anything that's not unique to what bands do when they replace vocalists. So my reaction, the way that I felt slighted, had a little more to do with the circumstances upon which I left, not what happened there. Like that wasn't an abnormal thing. The issue I had was that not that it was just necessarily just recorded, though that was part of my problem. Again, a little maturation shows how not abnormal that is. On the other hand, I got zero credit for that shit. And I was like, that's fucked. But no, it's just funny how that ended up becoming the sound that they were fucking known for. I bring all of this up to say I've been here. And that's why I love the audience. My audience is full of people that come from all sorts of different walks of life. Some come from knowing me from music. And even with the music, that's divided among people that knew me for the rap shit, hip-hop stuff. Some knew me for the rock and, like, metal stuff. On the other hand, you got people who knew me for the commentary, whether it be political commentary or culture commentary and comic books and stuff like that. All walks of life. All walks of life. All different walks of life. And I appreciate that. Can we get some backwards deathcore? I'm sure the gang would be good with that. I'd be up for it. A little mix in a little real heavy song. Rip a FIFA stream. Yeah, the new FIFA just came out. I hadn't played it. I don't know if we're bringing those back. We'll bring it back for Canon Sake. That'll be our nostalgia. I don't know. I don't think the FIFA streams are returning. That's probably not happening. I came from the commentary rants and you ragging on DC. Yeah, those are you got people that came from, again, I used to do strict like comic book commentary stuff, not just like me, hey, here's the thing in the comic. It was more like me doing reviews. I did a lot of like lore videos and stuff, my Who is Thanos series, it's like stuff like that. And those are fun for the times. You know, play more communist Mario Kart. My wife plays it with them. I haven't played it. They don't have inside drifting bikes, and that makes that game a bust. And there's no Roy. One of the first videos I seen from some Marvel New Warriors. Yeah, those are interesting times. Here I am waiting for new backwards in the Alpha Core. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Dallas in the building. Shout out. Oh, hey, libertarians. Yeah, people those were the OG meme wars, bro. During that era, 2014, 2015, when we used to argue with each other all the damn time on Facebook about politics and shit. Interesting times. Nothing beats D-Town Boogie Days. Yeah, the issue that I have with that is that Dallas fucked up because Dallas didn't embrace that movement like they should have. Dallas should have birthed a era like what happened with Atlanta, where Atlanta had like became almost like a it was really a cultural like battleground there. Well, I don't want to say cultural battleground. Let's say they became a major player in hip hop. Yes, we know like with Outkast and stuff like that, but during that era, they were, had the crunk era, and they were doing all that in addition to everything else that Atlanta was doing. It wasn't like, hey, you're making this type of music, you shouldn't make that type of music because Atlanta doesn't want to be known for that. They were like, we'll embrace it all, whether it's the snap music or the crunk music, where two different. One's more fun and dancing and shit. The other is more, we're gonna knock your fucking head off. Actually, that's what Lil Jon said. We some head butts. He was literally saying that, right? So Dallas, unlike what Atlanta did, where they embraced their movement, Dallas started hating on each other. Dallas didn't want to be known for like the boogie shit. So you had a lot of motherfuckers that was on some gangster shit, which I was on the same shit, which didn't make any fucking sense. More so trying to they didn't embrace it. It's less hating and more, it was some hating shit. But it was more like they didn't want to embrace that era because I guess they didn't want Dallas to be known for that. And that's why Dallas became not known for shit. And thus, another LA, shout out to LA. I gave them respect because they was like, we'll take it. And this is why everybody associated the Dougie with California, even though it ain't their fucking dance. Hell, see Smooth saying the song, it ain't their fucking dance. But they were like, we'll take it. And they went further than what anybody else did with Dallas doing that type of music. It's a crying damn shame. Too busy hating. That's what hating gets you, bro. That should have been a big like boom for Dallas during that era. Everybody was copying what fuck Dallas was doing. Everybody. Couldn't capitalize. Trying to do too much. Like instead of embrace, that was something that was organic, right? It was something that was unique to Dallas. A sound and like just culture, like with mixing the boogie stuff in it as well, and they just fucking blew it. That's something that they'll fucking never be able to take advantage of again. They lost that. Now it's like, who's the fuck Dallas' biggest help? Dallas' biggest rapper now is fucking in prison. Yellow Beezy. He from where I'm from. He from Oak Cliff. And now his ass in prison. Sad. Nothing came of it. As a Cowboys fan, Dallas is allergic to success. Yeah, it's like it's something in the water. Like snatching it from the jaws, bro. That's what they known for. Having something be an easy layup, just make rational decisions and fucking it up. My uncle and them used to talk shit about our generation of dancing and music. Yeah, it's just dumbest shit ever. Dallas should have been all over that. Should have embraced it like, oh, well, everybody else copying our shit. We just gonna capitalize. We gonna show love, and there's room for it all, right? If other people want to do other kinds of music, like we gonna ride this wave. Nope, fucking retards. And now look at them. Like I said, they ain't got shit anymore. Not in the music sense. Nothing. You got a bunch of shit where everybody doing your dance and shit. But your dance is a variation. How many variations of Dougie, which again is Dallas Boogie, have you seen? Even the South Dallas swag, right? Fucking, what's his name? I mean, he came and went. What's the fucking guy that look like a fucking pit bull? What is his name? I think he's from Charlotte. He got canceled for, like, saying something about gay folk on stage. What was his name? But he had a run like no other. What was his name? Oh yeah, Big X is from Dallas. He is from Dallas. You're right. No, I said, look, the baby. That's his name. So I don't know if you know his like biggest song in this video, right? Hold on, I'm gonna show you something. What is the name of that goddamn music video? Well, they did it all in one take. It's 5 years ago, right? And he had like Jabberwockies or some shit, and they started doing this dance. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. I'm not gonna play it because I'm gonna get DMCA'd out of my fucking mind. Right? The music. But I remember this happening, these motherfuckers doing this dance here that they're about to do. And it's just the South Dallas swag. That's just the fucking South Dallas swag. And everybody fucking was doing, again, another example. Motherfuckers taking Dallas shit. Dallas too stupid to take advantage of it. So somebody from another city does it, gets on with it. And now you left looking fucking stupid. So Dallas gets what it fucking deserves as far as I'm concerned. That's why I don't even fucking argue this shit anymore. It's crazy. Fucking crazy. That's what they get, though. And I don't even know if that was the actual Jabberwockies. Like, that might have been them. I have no idea. I just said it looked like, because I know they're known for that shit. That might have not even been them. Sounds like Jerry Jones affected the whole city. It's funny, like, it's hilarious because Dallas used to be like a biting ass city, right? Like, Dallas used to be a city culturally with music. Outside of, like, you know, OGs like Stevie Ray Vaughan and shit. But on the hip-hop side, by the way, Stevie Ray Vaughan is from Oak Cliff, in case you didn't know. But, like with some of the others, Dallas used to be known for, as far as their music, for, like, doing other people's shit, right? Like, DOC, he's from Dallas, right? He's known for more so West Coast shit, though. Like L.A. and they sound. Same goes for, who else came out? Oh, like, that era used to bite so much off of, like, Louisiana, like, bounce music, like, in the 90s. It wasn't until, like, DSR came along where Dallas started to form its own fucking sound. And even then, a lot of it was, early on, was, like, just Houston shit, right? And then it started to kind of form into their own shit. This is why I really respect Big Tuck, if you don't know who that is, because he kind of helped that, all right, Dallas is going to be its own shit, right? And then from that, you know, birth of, you know, Lil Joe and the boogie music and all that shit. And again, that was like a hotbed of like what should have been like everybody should have been doing their own thing and should have just blown up. DSR should have did their thing. You had the boogie music happening. Young Nation, Lil Fame, and B Reed, and us, KT, all these guys were doing all of our shit. But that's not what happened. Instead, it was like, you can't make that type of music. We hate y'all motherfuckers. And okay, other cities said, yoink. That's why I say they get what they deserve. Things that turn out well for Mo3. I think that's an example of the hating ass shit. You know what I mean? The unfortunate shit. Like Mo3, another guy, gets fucking murdered. That's why Yellow Beezy's in fucking jail right now, or prison. But that's another thing, right? Motherfuckers can't just do their own thing. Like, he's from, I don't know where, I think he's from North Dallas. I don't quote me on it. I have no idea where Mo3 from. He's not from like our area, right? But that, another example, guys absolutely fucking killing it. I remember every Heat Seeker fucking, not Heat Seeker, every album that was mixtape that he was dropping was charting. Every single one. Ends up getting fucking murdered in fucking Oak Cliff. Off 35 or wherever the fuck. And now Dallas' top rapper, right? Gets fucking goes, now he's in fucking prison for murder. It's like, for that, for conspiracy, is supposedly hiring a hitman. That embodies Dallas shit right there. That Mo3 was from Houston. No, he's from Dallas. I think from like, I don't know if he's from East, West. He's not from like South, like Oak Cliff area. I know that much. That was actually part of the problem. That ended up people beefing over nonsense because that's how stupid Dallas can be. From on the other side of fucking Dallas. We all from the same goddamn city. Stupid. Dallas can't get us. Yep, this is a representative of Dallas. It's just representative. That whole altercation is representative of fucking Dallas. Unfortunate. It really is. Ghetto Boys, UGK. Well, yeah, I mean, Houston had their momentum, you know what I mean? And they got behind each other. Houston's an example, I guess, you know, they did it right. They got behind everybody and everybody from that movement. Whether they were Switch House, whether they were SUC, whether it didn't really matter. I mean, you had Plex, don't get me wrong, like Chamillionaire and fucking Mike Jones, but both of them with platinum, people forget. What's up, babe? Oh, you got it? Thanks. I'm about to end here in a little bit and we'll fucking thank you. Is BZ bigger than Big X? Probably not now. Not right now, for sure. I mean, because one's in prison and the other's not. But yeah, Big X Plugs from Dallas, for sure. And yeah, that he's probably the biggest one right now. But yeah, so many people came out of that era of Switch House. It was Slim Thug that was like killing it. Slim Thug, obviously Paul Wall, Chamillionaire, Mike Jones. I mean, all those guys fucking blew. Even fucking, you know, you had a resurgence with what's his name, Lil Kiki, right? Of him, man, the guy that had been around forever. Hell, ain't Devin the Dude. Devin the Dude was even from fucking Houston. Houston like was on top for a while there. They really took advantage of what they were doing. Well, that whole movement. Zero, yeah, I forgot about fucking Zero. Trey. Yeah. Ain't Chingo Bling from Houston? I don't know if he's actually from Houston. I have no idea. I'm pretty sure Chingo Bling's from Houston. Houston was crazy high. Yeah, you're not wrong. Says, yeah. Yeah, Post Malone is from Dallas. That is a good point, yes. It's funny, I first knew of him on the metalcore side, right? And now he's known for rap and shit, or hip-hop shit, or whatever the fuck you call it that he's doing. Thought about Chinko Bling as soon as you said it, yeah. Chinko Bling's from fucking Houston. White Iverson from Dallas, yeah. Post Malone's from Dallas. He does country now. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck genre you can put him in. But to be fair, he didn't start with rap. I know that's what he got known for, but he used to be in like metalcore bands and shit. That was when I first knew about him. When he was like hanging around the Crown the Empire guys. But yeah, he is from Dallas. He is from Dallas. That is true. I don't knock anybody from doing multiple genres. Like I can't hate on that. I mean, you're saying somebody that fucking jumps from genre to genre. So yeah, I ain't knocking that at all. Pip C made sure all the Houston rappers stopped beef. Well, he did that song where when he was, so what was it, knocking those down? Like the first verse of that song is him basically telling everybody to shut the fuck up and stop hating on each other. That's basically what that song was because he talked about Chameleon and Paul Wall beefing at the time, or not speaking with each other, right? Even though they came up together. But yeah, that's all that first song. That's all that song was him like lecturing the city of Houston, telling me, and he ain't from. He's from Port Arthur. He basically telling people to get their shit together, quit hating on each other. Doing knocking doors down for indie comics. Telling people to get off their dumb shit. Dallas cats are crazy. My homeboy got his Trailblazer stolen. We were there, wanted to get something to eat, came back and it was gone. Fuck. Yeah, Dallas it depends on what area you're in. Obviously, you know, you were talking about Fur Park area, and I wouldn't recommend anybody going out there fucking around about. Yeah, because they ignorant over there. And I say this is somebody from South Dallas. Yeah. But that sounds about right. All right, let me get some of these super chats. We had a great chat. This is a great nostalgic chat. Bearded Gamer says it's funny that all is coming out now. We all knew this was happening. Not wrong. Still Lake of History says, I can never thank you enough for your support and kindness with everything my family has been through so many years. Been there for me. Thank you. Hey, no, thank you for your continued support. 38 months, by the way, being at Ultramac, bro. I appreciate that. Wow. Shout out. Python Bacon becoming a member. 57 months. Wow. Mike has bad knees with a 5. Most people also don't know the difference between capitalism and corporatism. Not wrong. The return for Canon Sake. For Canon Sake. Let's go, says Bruce. You got him right, Bruce. Let's go. 10 by the way from Bruce. Larry Parker with a 2 says, I am dying. At least we aren't mad at AT&T. That's true. That's true. Music bought out the trunk. Those are my days, man. That's my fault. So my first mixtape ever. Wide on both sides. Out of the trunk of my Cutlass. Those were the days. Still Like History with a 10 says, thanks again for everything. I can't wait for the new Isom figurine and the Bloodruth #2. And so many others. So proud. Y'all blessed and be blessed, excuse me. And you have some of the best folks working for you. Be blessed. Thank you so much. Yeah, we got some awesome people here, man. Awesome people. Arian's Legacy with a 20 says, Ripper, glad I caught you. That ain't cheap, by the way. Saw you alive. I jumped in here. I'm friends with a local guitarist in Houston that knows the folks from Fire from the Gods. Nice. There's a lot of guys. We recorded all. I don't know if they still did that, like up in like the last few years or so. But when I was in Fire, we used to all record, and all of our tracks were recorded in Houston, except the demos. Demos were recorded in Austin, but like the official, like for example, The Capitalist, what we just listened to, that was recorded out of Houston. My son was amazed of your work ethic in putting together his band. Oh, let's go. I love to see that. That is really cool. Shout out. Yeah, those are the days, man. Those are the days. Did a lot of shows in Houston, too. Those are the days. Shout out. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Someone said, God bless Eric. You glad you left that stupid shit behind? Well, yeah, I mean, during my day, man, it could have ended up a completely different way. I was on some stupid shit. Dumb shit. Not needing a good reason to fight. Ghost Rider with a 5 says, hi, Ripper. Highly likely Google and Zuck using previous administration as a scapegoat. Well, that's why I say two things can be true. Like, they could be in on it. Do a song with Tim Pool for the next album. Says student guy. I mean, maybe for my next album or his next album. Your rants about COVID and that 2-week prediction is really what changed my mind about things. Before that, I was pretty conservative. Now, well, let's just say I'm closer to ANCAP than conservative. So, Ron Almighty, what's up? Being a Mega Man for 63 months. Woo! Let's go. Shout out to you. And yeah, man, those are the days. It was cool to reminisce about that, man, because, yeah, those are the days when I was like just doing dumb shit. Or not doing dumb shit. What? Like, I remember those 2-week days, that 2-week, thing or whatever you want to call it. Does this work? No, it doesn't. Where's that audio coming from? Looking at my Rodecaster. Where the fuck would that audio even come from if not here? What about this? No? Okay. All right, anyway. Gotta learn to work that again. Ronan the Crusader with a 31 months says, for Canon Sake, Kove's talking more Dallas Boogie lore. Seems like even after 4 years, you never disappoint, Eric. Yeah, man, it's kicking it old school right now. We really are. Shout out to you, Ronan the Crusader, man. Love to see you here as always. 31 months. Defonte, Ultramac. Thank you for that. He's gifted a membership. Shout out. Crease is now a member. Shout out Crease. What's up? Yeah, we were in Fair Park for. Oh, yep. There you go. Like I say, wouldn't recommend anybody go over there. That is South Dallas. Yeah. It's funny. I wasn't saying that thinking you were in that area. I was just using that as an example, and here you go telling me, yeah, that was where we were at. Fuck. That is unfortunate, man. Those guys can't get right out there, man. That's why I fucking moved. Joshua Bird with a 5 says, sorry if you said earlier, but will you put the new For Canon Sake episodes on podcast services like before? Yes. We'll be on all digital platforms. So where you get your podcast, you'll be there. Yeah. All right, guys, I gotta go get ready for Blaze. Remember, we pre-record those because it's not two of me. I know there's been rumors and myths about because I was live one time and so did the show air over at Blaze. You got to remember we pre-record those. There are not two Eric Julys. Put the clone myths to rest. We just pre-record them. And that's what I'm about to go do right now. Okay? So if I happen to like pop in, maybe Tuesday night's main event, it's partially why I can't do the Tuesday night main event on time is because I'm leaving Blaze and doing all that other shit, okay? For Canon Sake returns next week on the 29th. I'm really excited for it. Thank you all so much. We're going to kick it old school next week. I'm streaming all 5 days, but that's not going to be the regular. We're just streaming 5 days to figure out our time slot, and then we'll make it official. Thank you all so much for the support. I will see you all on Tuesday night's main event when I roll in later at the original showtime. But I got to bounce. Until next time, y'all be easy. And, yeah, peace out.